Hi, I'm Kate, the Daily Tarot Girl, and welcome to your weekly tarot card reading. So, for this week's reading, I'm using the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks. And I'm just going to give the cards a shuffle. And my intention with this week's reading is I'm going to draw 3 cards. Each card is going to represent a portion of the upcoming week. And I just want to get some ideas, some inspiration regarding the week ahead and how we can all make the most of the upcoming energies and themes. All right. So the card for the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday-ish, is... And before I tell you what the card is, I just want to tell you that if you enjoy this reading, please give me a like, leave me a comment, or subscribe to my channel. It really, really helps me out. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. So Wheel of Fortune is the card for the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday. All right. So Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana card. And so the first thing I notice about this card is the center of the wheel, it looks like a nipple to me. And that nipple to me makes me think of like sustenance, like getting sustenance from something to sustain yourself. And I also think that little nipply thing in the middle there, it's a reminder, it's the center of the wheel. And the Wheel of Fortune is often there to remind us to get centered. It's saying, there might be some change coming. The Wheel of Fortune is about, spinning the wheel, taking a risk, but it's also about the cyclical nature of things and how things are always in flux, they're always in flow, nothing stays the same. And in order to thrive in that kind of environment that's always shifting, always changing, you need to get really good at centering yourself. Being able to center your energy and find your center, being able to find your center will go a long way in sustaining you this week and making things sustainable that wouldn't otherwise be sustainable for you if you are not able to find your center. So what does that mean to you, to find your center? Like, you might find that certain activities, certain places, certain things will help you find your center and get centered. So for me, it is meditation helps me find my center. Getting outside and moving my body helps me find my center. Those are just kind of a couple examples. For you, it might be reading poetry or, writing poetry or spending time with animals. Like, what is it that helps you find your center? Or journaling. Journaling can be really helpful. The other thing I notice about this card is that the little pointy thing on the wheel is pointing at the house. So there's something here this week about the home, about where you live. It could be that because I don't really think of the wheel as representing chaos, but it represents change and flux and things being in motion, things changing. And so you might experience change and a bit of things being in transition and in flux in your home life, in the area that you're living in. There might be some change. Or it might also be saying that connecting to your living space, grounding yourself in your living space is one thing that will help you kind of find your center. But I feel like it's saying there's going to be some changes, some flux in your living space, and the more connected you are to your center, the easier it will be for you to just kind of ride out those changes without too much hassle. The woman on this card is smiling. The cat is kind of playful. So yeah, it feels This card doesn't feel heavy. That's kind of what I'm saying. Okay, so that's the beginning of the week. So the beginning of the week is a time to get centered, to find your center, so that any changes, any flux, any flow that you experience during the week will be, easily managed by you. Let's draw a card for the middle of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday-ish, we have Knight of Wands. All right. I'm excited to see this card here. Knight of Wands. I'm excited to see him because to me, the Knight of Wands is a card of adventure, and he is inviting you on a bit of an adventure. Knight of Wands is saying that you will do best this week if you have something to quest for, if there's something that you're focused on, something you're seeking, and it has to be something that kind of fires you up a little bit, something that you're a little passionate about. If you have something to work towards, this is what's really going to help you thrive this week. But the Knight of Wands is also encouraging you to be adventurous and to move, to move yourself, to don't just stay put. The Knight of Wands loves to travel. He loves to go on adventures. This is not a homebody card, which is interesting because with the Wheel of Fortune, we had the little pointy thing pointing to the house. But the Knight of Wands, he is not a homebody. He loves to get out and explore and have adventures. And he always has some kind of a quest. He's searching for something. He's either searching for treasure, or he's trying to solve some sort of a mystery, or he's trying to uncover something. There's always something that's driving him. And so if you're struggling with motivation this week, ask yourself, how can I create a quest? How can I set a goal? How can I give myself some sort of task to focus on? Because with the Knight of Wands, I get that a lot of us have energy, but we're not sure how to direct it or how to use it. And the secret to feeling more energized and more motivated this week is to connect your actions with your passion. So Knight of Wands is really, really kind of inviting you to explore what you're passionate about. What fires you up? What lights you up? What are you passionate about? And if you can find a way to connect what you're passionate about to the actions that you're taking in your life, that is going to really supercharge your motivation this week. I also get the sense with the Knight of Wands that it's almost like we want to be challenged this week. So the fire-breathing dragon on this card represents a challenge. It represents an obstacle, but not the kind of obstacle that's like dreary. It's like an exciting obstacle, like, ooh, a challenge, like a challenge to meet. So that's kind of what I'm getting with the Knight of Wands is I think many of us want to feel challenged this week. And I want to draw the next card for the end of the week because I feel like all of these cards are going to kind of flow together really well. So the card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday is, ooh, the Lovers. Okay. Interesting. This is totally different from the first two. I was kind of seeing a theme with the color red with the first two cards, with the dress and the Wheel of Fortune, and then the cape and the dragon in the Knight of Wands is also red. So I was hoping for lots of red with the Lovers, but there really isn't much. So the Lovers has a different kind of energy. Okay, so what I'm seeing with the Lovers more than anything here is partnership and working together, partnership, connection. Sometimes the Lovers can represent choice, and I feel like many of us will be presented with a choice at the end of the week, and it might kind of feel like, do I want to choose the thing that's exciting, that lights me up, or do I want to choose the thing that's predictable but stable? Do I want to choose the thing that feels kind of fiery and hot and spicy, or do I want to choose the thing that feels more comforting? So I think that for many of us, there will be a choice at the end of the week, maybe on Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. And what I'm really getting though with the lovers is that connection is going to feel like a priority for many of us this week. Connection and partnership. With the Knight of Wands, I feel like this is about partnering with your own soul, connecting with the things that you're passionate about, the things that really fire you up, connecting with your sense of purpose and your sense of passion. But the Lovers is about connecting with another. And it's almost like looking at these three cards laid out like this, it's almost like the Knight of Wands is saying you first have to connect with your own inner fire before connecting with another person. If you're connected to your own inner fire, then your relationships are going to be more spark filled. And I say that in a good way. Like your relationships will feel a little more spicy, a little more passionate, a little more interesting, engaging, including your friendships. Like this isn't just about romantic relationships, but if you're connected to your own inner fire, that also kind of ignites some of your other relationships and makes your other relationships feel a little more deeper and a little more engaging in some ways. Okay, I'm just looking at all three of these cards together, and I'm going to put all three cards. Well, I want to say more about the Lovers before I look at all three cards. So the Lovers, I feel like it is saying that you might want to prioritize your relationship. If you're in a relationship, you might want to prioritize that relationship on the weekend. You want to prioritize connection with another. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be about prioritizing the connection that you have with yourself, with your soul, with your spirit. Now, as I look at all three cards, and here I'm going to put all three on the screen, and I'm going to really move over because the last time I did a video like this, the cards kind of blocked my face, and that might be a weird viewing experience for you. I'm sitting in a squeaky chair in case you're like, what's that noise in the background? Okay, so looking at all three of these cards, these are powerful cards. Like Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana card. The Lovers is a major arcana card. Knight of Wands, there's a lot of energy, a lot of passion. There's a lot of fire here too. We have the fire-breathing dragon. We have the fire in the Lovers. So there's a lot of fire, but the Lovers feels calm. The Knight of Wands feels exciting, but the Lovers, interestingly enough, actually feels very calm. Okay, what do I make of this? All three of these cards together. Yeah, I do feel like this is a fiery week where your own inner passions might get kind of churned up. So the things that fire you up, the things that excite you, the things you're passionate about, these might kind of get churned up this week. And your passion, your sense of desire for another person, or that desire to connect with another person might also get kind of churned up. And so I can see more clearly now what the Wheel of Fortune was trying to say to you. It's saying, hold on to your center, because this week could be a little bit of a ride. Now, for some of us, we may not experience this in a really intense way. We may experience this in a more muted, calmer sort of way. But for some of us, it might feel like not a roller coaster, but an exciting ride. And so Wheel of Fortune is saying, hold on to your center, ground your energy, find your center, and, hold on for the ride this week. Yeah. And I'm just looking at the little cat in the Knight of Wands, and he's kind of like holding on for dear life, it looks like, which is interesting. And then the two cats together in the Lovers look very content and very calm. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to add. Feel free to add your own take on these cards if you want to share any insights you get from looking at these cards. I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is also telling you to not be afraid to take a bit of a risk this week, take a bit of a gamble, like the way she's standing. She's standing with her hand on her hip. She looks very confident and she's about to spin that wheel. And then the little cat at her feet is like kind of playing with the dice. So there's like a roll of the dice, a spin of the wheel. Wheel of Fortune is saying, don't be afraid to take a bit of a risk, spin that wheel, see what happens. Knight of Wands is saying that attitude, I think, of, being willing. And here's the interesting thing. It's going to be very hard for you to feel comfortable and confident taking a risk with something if you aren't centered. So the key to being able to be a little more adventurous this week is to find your center. If you find your center, you're going to feel grounded, you're going to feel safe, you're going to be able to take those risks when you need to, you're going to be able to be more adventurous, more active when the situation calls for it. And you're also going to be more open to connection with others this week. So the key to a successful week lies in the Wheel of Fortune. She's saying, if you can find your center, that is your big task right now. How can you connect to your center right now? Are you going to do some journaling? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to take a moment, go outside, put your hands in the earth, breathe in the air, whatever it is that helps you find your center? That is your task right now. Because if you can do that, if you can successfully do that, that is the key to being able to have some fun this week and have some little adventures here and there, and maybe even some passionate connections with others this week. So that has been your weekly tarot card reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this resonated. I hope it made sense. Leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week.